and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's an elephantine sunrise. We thought there was about to be a battle of the elephant bulls, but the big tusker saw off his challenger. This is Safari Live. Ready.
Standing by.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live.
Good morning, and welcome to the most exquisite morning in the African bush. Steph's deluge, aka tropical cyclone Djuma, aka storm in a teacup, is over. I doubt we even got 100 mils, and with all the sandbag filling in preparation, we still need more rain. But I just want to say, look at this sight we are seeing in the morning. My name is Brent Leo Smith, and of course I have my good friend and fellow killer on the back of the vehicle, Brian Joubert. Now you can see there's 2 elephants in shot. There is a grey bottom disappearing. Now I thought in the pre-show that they might have a tussle, but the elephant disappearing in the distance made space very quickly when this large tusked bull stomped towards the marula tree he was feeding on. And he's decided that discretion is the better part of valor. I'd say he's a little bit older than the other bull, and he's also in full must. You can see how wet the inside of his legs are. The smell is permeating with the smell of must. Now, Brian, I don't know if you've heard WildEarthTV's latest description of the smell of must. So WildEarthTV is obviously one of our cameramen. His name is Virm. He's walking with James this morning. So initially, he describes must as off Oros. Now, Oros is a sort of concentrated sugar drink. Let's not call it fruit, because that would be a vast exaggeration. But now, Virm has changed his total description to it is off Oros mixed with armpit sweat is the smell of must. I don't know. I've struggled to describe the smell of must. It is a bit sickly sweet, and for those of you who might not know, must is the heightened hormonal stage that an elephant bull comes into when he is ready to mate. And in our part of the world, the biggest bulls seem to come into must to coincide with marula season. Now, depending on where you are, elephants can have multiple must seasons, but their must season will the big dominant bulls like this beauty next to us, their must season will coincide with the season that the most females are in estrus. We better tell James, otherwise he might just walk straight out of camp into this musty bull. Now the sun is starting to peek up just behind that elephant. And are we going to try for an elephant sunrise? Sounds like a good name for a cocktail. An elephant sunrise. Oh, Brian, what a tough day to start work with. Another tough day in the office. Remember, hashtag Safari Live or questions at WildEarthTV. If you have any questions for us, we would love to hear from you. Also, remember to tell us where you're watching from. And it is always fascinating to find out where everyone is. The right one. I would probably say that weighs 70 pounds. As would be my estimate, without having to go shake the elephant by his head, which would be very detrimental to me. The largest elephant tusks ever recorded weighed 238 pounds. Very uncommon to see ivory of that size. Now, while he's hiding his head, and you can just see that beautiful gleaming ivory peeking out, let's go say good morning to Taylor and find out what her plans are.
Good morning, everybody. Well, it's a beautiful start out here on quarantine. You can see the sun is just about to poke its head above the clouds. Now, my name is Taylor, and on camera with me this morning is David. And as Brain was wanting to know what my plans are, I think we're probably going to head in that direction where we were looking just a moment ago to go and search for the Nkuhumas. Now, we're going to keep driving, but I must ask you if any of you perhaps saw any lions come past Vuyatela Dam last night on the dam cam or walking across the dam wall. Please let us know, because just before I went to bed last night, I heard some lions calling in the far distance. It sounded like the far western corner, but it didn't sound like a big male's roar. So I wonder if it's perhaps Amber Eyes and her dear companion, the youngest lioness from the Nkuhuma Pride, who are perhaps hoping to make their return and join up with the rest of the gang. Now, this is of course a live safari that you have joined us on. That's Connor. He's setting up the drone, which is exciting. We'll put him on camera. He loves to be on camera. Say hi, Connor. There he is, getting all set and ready for the day, and hopefully he'll get some nice sunrise shots. And like I was saying is, if you'd like to let us know, perhaps you did see something on the dam cam, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or send them, just let us know via email too, questions@WildEarthTV. But we'll check here very quickly and see if we can see any footprints. Excuse me. Not far, and the sand is, we haven't had any more rain, so the soil's quite wet. Often in this area where it's nice and sandy, if a lion or something quite heavy does come walking through here, we'll most certainly see some footprints, which is quite nice. We've already seen some hyena tracks from the pesky hyena that came through camp last night. They are so naughty. Oh no. Someone has moved a log in the road. Let me quickly jump out and move that. Elephants have obviously been playing around. Right. No, not strong. It was very light. It's an old tree, and I think the termites have thankfully eaten most of it. So it wasn't that hard to move. But it's very typical though to see elephants pulling branches and things across the road. Even buffalo will occasionally do it if they're rubbing up against it. And then elephants, as we've seen, because they're so strong, they're able to lift it up, move it away, and eat the nice green vegetation that's often popping up underneath it. No more frogs, David, they've all gone. That's funny how that happens after you have a downpour of rain. And then everything just disappears. They mate, they lay their eggs, and then that's the end of it. And then you only start to see them again as the sun goes down. There's a Hadeda, no, it's a hammerkop in the water. Sorry, I don't know why. So is it? What is it? I can't even see it from here. This light is so difficult. We'll have a look now with David. But yeah, who is that? It is a Hadeda. It had its head tucked in so far. For one moment I thought that it was a hammerkop, but it's obviously not a hammerkop bird. It's a Hadeda that's come down to the edge of this big pan, this natural pan, in hope to probe through all the nice soft soil and capture a couple of insects that are moving around underground. But I think that this Hadeda would be in luck today. I don't think it's going to have to work as hard, because I think some of the insects, when we were chatting about it with James, some of the insects probably would have been flushed out with the amount of rain. So I suspect that they're probably closer to the surface than having to probe its beak all the way down to the base. Isn't that a lovely, of course, little reflection, a little dragonfly buzzing around too. We're going to continue on to the far eastern corners of Djuma to see if we can find those lions. And I believe that we have a bushwalk today, which is very exciting, and that of course includes James. So let's go and say good morning to him.
We do have a bushwalk today, everybody. My name is James Henry Viermas on camera. Herbert, as usual, on security details, scouting, tracking, and all things effective on the bushwalk. And, well, we're not far from BLS, that's Brent Leo Smith. And he is sitting there, of course, with those elephants. We're not going to approach any closer than this. We're going to move away from here now. We are as live, of course, as Brent and as Taylor. So hashtag Safari Live is how you get hold of us. Questions at WildEarthTV. Those elephants are probably about 150 meters. So that's about 450 feet from us. Fly. Excuse the knocking on the microphone. So let's move away slowly this way. We obviously do not want to incur the wrath of the elephants or of BS. Now, you may notice if you're a regular viewer that I have nothing in my hands. This is very difficult for me. I seem to have lost my stick. So yet again, I'm going to have to replace it today with another stick. So that is going to be the goal of my walk today. The other goal, which is probably more important to you, is that we're going to be heading to the south to see if we can find some tracks of Kurula and her babies. Because, of course, we do need them. We need them for the TV show, our finale, the 8th and final show of our safari journey together. Not on the internet, of course, on TV. And that, of course, is on 11 o'clock Eastern Nat.Geo Wild Sunday evening. Having a bit of picture break, sorry about that. We'll try to let's go straight back across.
Look at him. He is now a lot more relaxed that he's seen off that other elephant ball. And he's just feeding on the fallen marulas. Hey, big boy. Oh, he's gorgeous. Now you can see the difference in his ivory there. He's definitely left tusked. I have seen this elephant before, but it's been quite some time. And you can see that tusk, I'd say, what do you think, 30 centimeters circumference? So that's going to thicken up quite a lot in the next sort of 10 years or so. He's really got nice ivory. But I'd say by the time he hits, a better worn bushwalk, he's heading straight towards them. By the time he's about 50, I would say he's probably going to get to 45, 50 centimeters. Herbie. So you can see bushwalk just over there. You can see Vim's antenna. That big must bull is coming straight for you. Okay, well, let's stay with him a bit longer. So he's heading directly towards bushwalk, but I'm predicting he's going to stop at that marula tree there on his way. I'm just waiting for that sun. Get ready for the screen slice. As that sun bursts out, we're going to have the most spectacular views of this Ellie. Yes, but stop at the tree. I don't want to have to give you a lesson about behavior now. You're old enough to know better. Oh, it looks like all the marulas are off. Oh, it's a male marula, this one, that we're driving past, so no marula fruit there. So he's going to head to the next female. Now, Mary is wondering, how fast can an elephant run? Mary, much faster than I can. Or James, for that matter. Oh, what was that, Brian? I don't know, something's making a noise down there. They can do about 55 kilometers an hour. So much faster than Usain Bolt. And they can sustain it for quite a long time as well. Now, you've always got to be a little bit cautious with elephant bulls and must, as they are in a heightened state of hormones. There's a lot of testosterone and whatnot flowing through. So I'm keeping a little bit more distance than I would as if he wasn't in must. Oh, is he going to chase the Inyala? I think there's an Inyala bull there. And Yes, I think the Nyala knows that he's in must, so the Nyala is gapping it. Look, it looks like he is wanting to chase the Nyala. That big grey bottom, isn't it wonderful? He's on a mission. Let's see. As I said, we're not gonna. Oof! Wow, that's strong. That is a really in full must now. Wow, that's the first time we've actually just sort of driven downwind of him. I'm just gonna try get ahead of him. Now, again, with elephants, it's always important to try not force yourself into their space, but rather park, and if he chooses to come close to us, that's fine. As I said, while he's in must, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious and keep a little bit more distance. Good morning, Sir Potato. The Sir Potato would like to know, do the females choose the males, or do the males choose the females, depending on scent? Well, elephants are quite interesting because they will only mate when the female is in estrus or in heat and the male is in must. And it's the males who actively seek out the females in this situation. Oh, he's walking so fast. I thought I was going to be here with plenty of time. Hello, mister. Oh, see, he's got that naughty look about him. Don't do it. Keep walking. Good boy. He's actively searching for marulas. He's been to a couple of different trees and hasn't had any luck yet. It's Bushwalk just checking in where that is, where the elephant has moved to. Let me just have him. From Herbie's heading sort of southwest. He's just stopped at a marula now. You can see how he's found some tasty marulas. Hey, big boy. Oh, can you hear bullfrogs in the distance as well? Wah, wah, whoomp, whoomp. Quite far away though. Oh, so beautiful. Now, the base, excuse me, the base of his trunk is bigger than my waist. Hello, Suki. Suki would like to know, how many hours a day does an elephant spend eating? Suki, elephants are one of the animals because they have to eat a massive amount of vegetable matter, around 400 pounds a day. They actually feed for the majority of the day. They will take little respites, but they feed for the majority of the 24-hour period. And at this time of the year, these big bulls are literally moving from marula tree to marula tree. And they do love the vitamin C rich marula fruit. And as he moves away a little bit, I think we've got some leopards to look for. So let's go see what Taylor's found in a puddle.
We have got a tiny little terrapin that is smaller than my fist, and it is living in a very, very small little puddle on the middle of the road, and I hope that this fella decides to go elsewhere, because I don't think that it is a very safe spot. But it's not only the terrapin that we've managed to locate in the small puddle, but if we look at the top right corner of your screen, you should see some strange little balls, and those are the bullfrog's eggs. So they were also kafuffling. I suppose that's a good South African word, hey? Kafuffle. You can imagine what that means. And they've laid all their eggs in this pond, but unfortunately, this little pan or puddle on the road.
Hello, welcome back. It seems like Djuma has left us with a few gremlins from all the weather, but at least we are up and running, and the killer bees always welcome you on their vehicle. Hello, Impala. Watch out, that Ellie bull will chase you, and even though you've got big horns, it's no match for his tusks. Oh, look at the flies on his face, eh? So after rain, and we've got a bit of clear weather now, there's going to be an explosion of insects. And normally I don't mind that, but it's the explosion of biting flies that that I do mind. And I think I'm not the only one. Okay, Impalalas, we're going to look for things that eat you. Okay, Aubrey was trying to get hold of me. Aubrey. Now Aubrey and Rexon have the same plan as us. We're all looking for Karula. Rex. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask Rexon where he would like us to look, because he was the first person in that area. Rex, where would you like us to check? There's say hi guys, there's James and Herbie and Viam. There we go. Oh, he is such a clown. Okay, well there we go. I've just got a oh, sorry. Oh, this is very interesting. Copy, thanks Rex. I'm heading down Philemon's. I just want to check where Aubrey's checked, but I'll do Philemon's, Chele, Pan, and then South, and then I'll check the boundary from there. Okay, so apart from looking for the royal family, there's apparently tracks of a big herd of buffalo coming into Djuma, with the tracks of 2 male lions hot on their tail. Now, standing by Mike. Now I've made the mistake of talking on the radio. Okay, very good news. Copy, thanks Mike. So update from Mike down on Cheetah Plains is that there's tracks of a cheetah heading towards Cheetah Plains. So we were very spoilt the other day with 2 Nkuhumas, Karula, Hosana, Shongile, and I won't lie, I had all of that, and I was still a little bit jealous of James with the cheetah in that sky. Although we did see those Nkuhumas hunt 3 times, unsuccessfully of course, but they nearly got that one warthog. Remember #Safari Live or questions at WildEarthTV. Brian, what would you like to see today? Leopard or lion?
A leopard.
A leopard. But what if we find a lion? Oh!
Then I'm not going to film it.
Okay, Brian says he's not filming lions today. Don't worry, if he doesn't, I have my stick, and for those of you watching the pre-show, it's very useful, particularly when it comes to poking David. I did beat a hasty retreat when Taylor threatened to throw ice water on me. As good as my stick is, ice water is cold. James says, how did the recent rain affect the movement of Shongile and Hosana? Well, James, we don't know because we haven't seen them since before. Although in tropical... Oh, crocodiles. I thought I heard cubs. Sorry, I apologize, James. Well, see, I don't think it would have affected the movement that much. It might give them a few more pans to go to. So the reason the crocodile, or Boris, the blade in particular, is so mobile between all the little things is because the drought last year ended up killing probably in this northern area probably 90% of Boris's favorite food, which is catfish. And there's really only Chitwa and Kayamanzi up in the north that still have catfish. So I think Boris has gone to Kayamanzi because Vladimir is dominating Chitwa. But it sounds like James has got something a little bit taller than him, which isn't hard, on foot.
We had that elephant, everybody. He just came past us here. We had a really nice sighting of him, but he's disappeared down through there. And you saw how he was behaving with Brent. He's obviously in full must, and I think he's in search either of a herd or that other bull. We're not going to follow him on foot. And as I say that to you, I hesitate to use the term odour because I think it's got a negative term. VM would describe it as an odour. I would describe it as the scent of must. Assails our nostrils, and it's very pungent. I don't find it unpleasant though, do you? It's not very unpleasant. Huh? It's quite strong, but it's not unpleasant. Like sweet leather. It's better than carcass, says VM. Yes, it is indeed better than carcass. Anyway, he's walked straight down the road, and we've got a view of him here, Herbert says. There he is, you can just see him. He's moving quite a speed now. He's picked up the scent either of the other bull, or Brent Leo Smith, of course. This is where Brent went. No, Brent didn't. Brent went down the other way. Or perhaps the herd. And there was a herd of elephants actually around here that Aubrey had earlier this morning. So that elephant did quite a circuitous route to get here. I think he spotted us walking across here. Alright, we're going to head across to Taylor, I think, at a dam.
We've got 2 hippopotamus in Buffels Hook Dam. Can you believe it? It looks like there's only one, and I thought that there was only one when we first arrived. And then, after about 6 minutes or so, another one popped its head up. I think it's a little bit shy. It's sitting just to the right of this hippopotamus that we're looking at. And I didn't get a fantastic look, because, like I said, it's a little bit shy. So it doesn't stay up for too long. But I don't know if it's a youngster or if it's an adult. They look relatively big. So maybe they're 2 females that have decided to hang around here. I was hoping it was going to be the return of our friend Henry. But it doesn't seem like we're going to have much luck with Henry. But isn't that exciting to have Hippo in Buffels Hook Dam again? Very, very, very lucky. And then, as you know, seeing as though we're right here, I'm hoping that we're going to come across those lions. I can still see the vultures sitting up in the tree in the very, very far distance. So I suspect with them still being poised up in the trees in the distance, that must mean that the lions are still down below. Because if they weren't, I would think that those vultures would not be sitting up there and they'd be feasting upon the scraps, unless they've already done that. Should we go and have a look? I think we'll come back for these hippo. We know that they're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Just wanted to show you a quick look. But I'd like to, of course, catch these lions before it warms up and it gets too hot. Because you know what happens then is that they tend to go, well, back to sleep. And I don't blame them on a hot day. I'd probably also want to just sit underneath the shade. David, are you trying to get the spider webs off you still? We drove through some of these roads are obviously quite overgrown now because of all the rain that we had, which is wonderful. And hang on, why have we got so many? There's a gathering of hornbills here. There's about 6 of them, 6 red-billed hornbills. There's 2 of them, 3 of them, 4. Another one just flew past. I think there's actually more than that. But they're all sitting out and about here today. Hello, guys. Perhaps it's adults and juveniles, and they're sort of showing them the rope, showing them how to feed. It's the only reason why I could think that there'd be so many together. Isn't that lovely? You can see the ones on the right are actually doing a little dance. There's 2 that are up. There they are, the ones right on top. Oh, very quickly, let's go across to Brent.
Morning. Hello, you can see I'm playing with a stick at the moment. But at my feet is actually one of the more dangerous snakes we get out here. And normally with a lot of the blind snakes and stuff, you've seen us handle them, especially when they're in the road. This one was in the road. This is the one snake you never pick up. So its colloquial name or nickname is the Stiletto snake. And he should come out into the open, unless he finds a hole. Can you see him, Brian? So the reason it's called a stiletto snake is it's actually got sideways facing fangs, and many amateur herpetologist who think they know about snakes end up losing the tips of their fingers or toes to this particular snake species. So it is designed to live underground, and always after the rain is a great time to see snakes. Can you see him? He's hiding from us. I don't want to disturb him too much. And he's crawling into the ground here, or into the grass. And so their favorite thing to hunt, he should be coming out to the open over there, Brian, is small rodents, particularly tiny fat mouse is one of their favorite things. So living underground, you see him? A little bit. So they've got sideward facing fangs. So even if you hold them correctly, so the way you would hold a black mamba, he's on a mission this morning. Even if you hold a black mamba and whatnot, you can hold it quite safely behind the head. Whereas these guys you can't, because they can strike sideways, and they will often just, the tiniest little scrape of their fang is enough to cause necrosis. So lots of people, if you find people with missing tips to their fingers, etc., it's normally from this particular snake species. Where are you? You can just see his tail. I'll try to get you a view of his head. So they've got, trying to go into my shoe. That is not a good place for snakes, in my shoe. Unfortunately, as I said, I don't want to disturb him, but he's moving off. So that's very cool. That's the first time I've ever seen a stiletto snake, or the correct name is a Bibrom's burrowing asp. And he's moving off. Now, we could see a few more snake species today. It's always good for puff adders, and a lot of the blind snakes that have been washed out of their hole. Now, I'm causing a traffic jam. I'm sorry, Orbs. I'll move out of your way. Now, I will show you a little bit more carefully, because let me just get out of the road what he looks like. Now, and so just because we haven't had a chance to have a good look at him because he was moving around, there we go, it's snakes. Taxonomic name. So as I said, it's got these tiny little fangs on the side, and just a scrape from those snakes will cause you to lose a finger. Okay, there we go, blind snakes. Blind snakes. Where's... Oh, let's just actually just do the sensible thing. Where is it now? Am I being an absolute numpty? That is also possible. Here we go. Garter snakes, harlequin snakes. I don't believe this. Fangless, non-venomous, that's definitely not them. Blind and worm snakes. Boils, Delandes, Zambezi. Bibrons. So they come in lots of different colors. So yeah, that's what his head looks like. And you can just see his little fangs sticking out there. Let me just, there. You see that little white thing there? So they have cytotoxic or cell-destroying venom that literally eats away at your flesh. And you don't see them too often, as they mostly live underground. So the reason they've got those side-facing fangs, you can imagine in a tunnel under the ground, and you're going through, it's quite difficult to move and strike forward. So as the little rodents run past, he just goes like this, just hits his head sideways, injects the venom, and then will slowly turn around and follow that little rodent till it expires and he can eat it. So here we go. It's not a very common, it's the first one I've seen on a live safari. So Bibron's blind snake, or the colloquial stiletto snake. Now, you should never pick up snakes, actually, unless you really know what you're doing. So I generally don't pick up snakes unless I'm 100% sure what they are, because a lot of people get that snake confused with a mole snake and other blind snakes, which are completely harmless. But on that note, it seems like James is with the most numerous antelope in Africa. Let's go have a look.
There we have some impala, everybody. Indeed, the most numerous antelope that we find out here. In excess of 100,000 of them living in the Greater Kruger National Park. That is quite a lot of animals, really. But again, as we describe that, it's always interesting to me that, you know, we think, oh, 100,000 animals in one area, that's really massive, a massive number. In fact, it's probably closer to 200,000 of them in the Kruger National Park, including the Mozambican side and Zimbabwean side. But when you think about it, that's fewer than the number of human beings in a very small town. So when you consider the density of humanity, you think about our most numerous antelope out here consisting of some 200,000 odd. Or you could think about the 2 million wildebeest that move across the Serengeti Mara ecosystem. That's smaller than a pretty average-sized city, and yet that's one of the biggest migrations of wildlife in the world. It's not the biggest, but it's one of the biggest. And so you must understand, or I think that it's important to sort of think about how little space wildlife has and how much we as a species have completely taken over the world. And when you think about 7 billion of us as a proportion, 200,000 is less than 1/10 of 1%. In fact, it's probably less than 100th of 1%. It is less than 100th of 1%. It's less than 1,000th of 1% of the number of people there are in the world, which I think is absolutely astounding. Now, we are going to go down towards the south. We'll just try and get one more view of these impala. And they're a little bit skittish, but we've been standing here now for a long time, which means that they're just not so worried about us anymore because we're not hiding behind any bushes. And they're very relaxed, and as Herbert was saying just now, everything is now starting to respond to the water. It's going green. It's going to require 1 day of sun. That will hopefully be for today, and there will be a carpet of green for our TV show coming up, of course, on Sunday night in North America, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Nat.Geo Wild. Batteries not included, apparently, says Via. Terms and conditions apply. And Jen, you're wondering how much rain we had. We think we had about 60 millimeters of rain. It's very difficult to say exactly because a lot of the rain here is so isolated. 60 millimeters, if you 24 or 245 millimeters, no, 24.5 millimeters in each inch. So we've had just under 2.5 inches of rain in the last 48 hours, which for here is, well, it's quite a lot. It's not mind-blowing. It's certainly not the deluge and predicted floods that we were going to get. And if you'd heard Brent Leo Smith warning people after you must ask him to try and get him the next time you see him to recreate the speech that he gave. When we finished our TV show last week, we were battening down the hatches, preparing for this great deluge. And you've all seen pictures or renditions or impressions of those sort of dark age priests meeting out fire and brimstone, you know, sitting on the pulpit and talking about these incredibly terrible things that are going to happen. What have you seen? A giraffe. Oh, there's a giraffe coming towards the road. And try and get Brent to describe what he said to the assembled company after our TV show last week on Monday. It was very, very funny. He talked about great floods, nobody getting in, nobody getting out, food being impossible to get, mountains being blown over, the sky splitting in two, and we had 60 millimeters of rain, which really wasn't that much. Let me just move around the backside of VM there so you can have a look at those beautiful giraffe. And I wonder if we shouldn't just try and approach them slightly closer, just so that they have a look at us. But Jen, we certainly weren't the most affected. I have yet to hear from Londolozi, but they had well in excess of 100 millimeters. And there were places down in the south that had 140 millimeters or so. Now, 140 millimeters will do a certain amount of damage. This giraffe and her calf have been around here for some time now, and I hope they hang around. It's so nice having them, especially when they're walking past tall trees on a clearing with the sky in the background. That's really quite a gorgeous shot. Marvellous. Righty, there go our giraffe. I don't think there's going to be any more rain here today. There might be, there's a little bit predicted, but it's not going to be an enormous flood. It's not going to be diluvian. Let us head across now to where the Nkuhuma Pride have made their merciful return back to Djuma with Taylor McCurdy.
So you can see we've definitely found the lions again, and they have almost, well, basically finished the carcass. There isn't much left. It's just the young cubs scratching about, and you'll see them every now and then just looking up into the sky. Connor's here with the drone, but he's exceptionally far up, but they've obviously heard it. It's very quiet, this drone. It's actually amazing, and now they were watching it as it was buzzing about. So I wonder what they think it is. There we go. Some of the cubs have gone on a little bit of a walkabout now. Oh, they're going to all jump on each other, play piggyback. And off they go around. I think perhaps they've gone to use the luxury facilities. I think that they've learnt now from their parents that they can move around, but they have finished. And I don't think it's going to be too long before these lions start to wander a lot. Remember, a couple of months ago we were seeing moving about quite a bit. And I think they're going to get more and more adventurous as they get older. Looks like they've got a couple of bits of things that they can still munch on, but you can see after last night's feasting there really isn't much left. So I suspect that they should probably move on after this morning. Maybe they'll just lay near about and wait for the vultures to come in. What is she eating? Looks like a liver or something that she's feasting on, that adult lioness. That doesn't look like a piece of muscle. Delicious. You can just hear the birds starting to wake. All the flies are out and about as well. I suspect that they probably would have settled around here. Now, luckily for us, sorry, my apologies, there's not a lot of water around as we saw last night in forms of puddles on the road. So they have to go to Buffelshoek Dam to have a drink. Quarry Pan is just a little bit too far away. So we might get them going all the way back again, which would be quite nice to see the whole pride move towards Buffelshoek. But the cubs are not ready to go anywhere. Well, at least these ones. They're feasting about, trying to get all the flesh off of the inside of the skin. Can you hear them crunching and chewing? You can see that that little one has now learned how to do the carnassial shear. Now, I said to you that these lions are probably going to move off, and I wonder if that lioness hadn't got up because the little cubs went on a bit of a wander. And they seem to be a bit nervous this morning, and even when we found them before the TV show, they were a little bit jumpy with the vehicles. I don't know why. And Eric, you're wondering how long, or how many times, would a lion return to the same kill? And that would depend on how much flesh is left. But as we saw it in winter, when they unfortunately the tables turn, and it's easier for the lions to catch various animals, from buffalo to waterbuck to kudu, you name it, because they're weakened by not having any food around. And we saw it a number of times where they'd eat a little bit and then move off entire carcasses and go and catch something else. Oh, they're being summoned. That little one is not waiting around, it's dashing off. Oh, here's one of the older cubs. I think these two must be the two of the older ones. Look how big they've got. They're so tall now. But also, I've got something flying around my head. Go away. Trying to go into my eyes and get the moisture. It always makes me cringe when a fly lands on my face, especially when we're sitting around a kill with some lions, because you know where they've been sitting before. Oh, so we've got 2 left at the carcass. And I think, though, once they've finished up here and these 2 decide to move on, I don't think that they're going to come back to this. I think that this is the end of the carcass. There's really not much left. What do you think, David? Do you think we should follow the rest of the gang, or do you think we should stay here? I think let's go and follow the ones that are up and moving around, because we know that these 2 are here, but I'm worried that we are going to lose the rest. I think we're going to have to try and sneak around this way. We got ourselves into a tricky spot here, but we'll take 2 seconds. We have to engage 4x4. David, watch these thorny branches. Let's quickly go around. Oh my goodness. Just have to go the scenic way. We'll catch up with them in just a moment. Go through these ones. I've got no thorns on. Okay, where's my sneaky little spot that I used yesterday? Here it is. Go around the side of a termite mound. Careful, David, don't lean right. Are you good? Get covered in the bushes. Okay, now she's off too. Come on, little one, we'll have another look at this one, because this is actually a very nice view from here now. But they're all moving. Oh no, I wonder where they're going. Don't go north. Don't go north. Here we go. You hear the contact calling? I think she's saying, hey guys, wait up. And this little cub is not letting go of the carcass just yet, because as soon as these guys get up and move, the vultures are going to swoop in and devour what's left, and then there really won't be anything left for them to come back to. Come on, little one, you better catch up. Mom's going. Not giving up just yet. Now, Kirsten, you were wondering if there's any hyenas planning on stealing their carcass. No, not yet. But maybe now that they've moved back, we're going to see more hyena. Oh, hang on. David, hold on. This other lioness has just started racing off. I'm going to do the same thing. She's running down the road. Okay, she's just stopped. Sorry, everybody. That was interesting. I don't know why she did she just went into sort of a full sprint for just a couple of meters, just over here. And now she's settled down again. I don't know why she would have done that. I got excited. Oh, so nice to have the lions back on the property. I'm sure you all agree with me. David, you're quite happy about that, hey? Let's go out of 4x4 in case we need to do some chasing after lions. Now, we came through and I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen any prey species, no impala or buffalo, any unsuspecting victims hanging around just yet. But you know, that's not to say that even though they've just been feeding, that if there's another opportunity to catch something, they're not going to say no. They might go for it. Let's see. Trying to work out where the rest of the guys, and I can only imagine they've come. There they are. Ah, hello. They're obviously on their way towards Buffelshoek Dam for a drink, and we'll just keep an eye out behind us for that one last little cub that's decided to man the carcass on its by itself. And that's very brave because those vultures are much larger than that little lion. That's nice. I think we're going to see our little floppy-eared girl, who hasn't really got a floppy ear anymore. Connor looks like he's above Buffelshoek Dam. He might actually get a nice view of these lions if they do go down to drink. Because unfortunately, we'll just stop here and watch them. Bless you, David. Are you allergic to cats? Aha, da-dum-ch. They're on their way down now towards the dam. Like I said, Connor will probably get a good view just because they've blocked the road off. They're obviously trying to rehabilitate it and close it. It wasn't necessary, especially now that it's so full of water. And off they go. But we'll keep a healthy distance behind them. Just checking over my shoulder. Our little friend has not come back just yet. So they've all gone, but I can only see 4 lions. So the others must have really put foot and must be very thirsty, and that's where they're on their way to. I wonder how the hippos are going to react. I don't think they'll be too upset though, just because there is so much water in that dam now that they can drink on one end and really not be bothered. There they are. Naughty. This is very pretty. Let's have a look from here. See the others just disappearing down on the dam wall. Connor should start to pick them up now. If he looks by the balanites tree, he should start to see them. They're coming out. Run, 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 little one. Well, they're full of beans today. I thought with a big belly like that they might have been on the sluggish side, but that doesn't seem to be stopping them. Sorry, Jerry. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I didn't understand that. So apparently you're looking at everything from the drone now, which must be very cool. And I would love to, I'd actually absolutely love to see what it must look like. Lots of water. You can see one lioness coming through the water. You're going to hear me. I'm going to have to keep on driving now because I want to catch up to these lions. So I apologize. You're going to hear my engine going as I chat over. And you should see they use the same network. You notice that they followed each other. One led the way all the way down to the edge of the water, and I'm sure you're going to probably see the hippos start to turn around and start to face those lions as well. They might give a bit of a snort, and I wonder whereabouts they're going to go. I wonder what's going to be the best view for us. But now you can get a big view of how full Buffelshoek Dam really is, and isn't that lovely? Oh, beautiful. They're all lining up as lions like to do. And there's a bit of mist and haze, but as the sun gets warmer and warmer, that is going to... Oh, little one you got left behind. That mist will burn away. I'm actually going to come down so we can get a really nice close-up view of these lions in a moment, of them drinking water. Come on, little one. There's a little one crying. It's like it's lost. It doesn't realize that they're all just down here. Oh, David, how beautiful is this? And I can see my favorite little girl. Yes, there's David and I with the lions. Wave, David. But this is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? So we've got 1, 2, 3 adult lions. Here we go. Now you should be able to see them lapping up the water. We've changed view. Come on, little lion. I can hear this one calling frantically, but it just needs to go past the tall grass. And then it'll be fine. And then it'll be able to find the rest. Can you hear it? I wish I could respond for that little cub. There's a blacksmith lapwing shouting. There we go. Just about to be reunited with its family. Look there. This is the one that was left at the carcass. Oh, very happy to be home. And now normally the lionesses would have responded to that call. But as you can imagine, they're very thirsty and they're very busy at the moment. So the last thing that they want to do is have to call a little cub in that is just a couple of feet away from reuniting with the rest of them. Oh, I'm so happy. Welcome home, Nkuhumas. Welcome home. Now we just need your 2 sisters to come back and join you guys. And then you'll be a one big happy family again. The lions seem chuffed. The birds aren't. The Egyptian geese are shouting. The blacksmith lapwing and the 3-banded plover are all giving their alarm calls now, warning everybody else around here that there are large predators. And the hippopotamus have disappeared underwater. They seem to be a little bit on the frightened side. I don't blame them. I'd probably also duck for cover if a group of lions like this approached me. This is beautiful. And they can consume large amounts of water too. You'll be surprised. They'll sometimes stay at one pan and drink continuously for up to 10 minutes. And we do always have new viewers, so sometimes we do repeat ourselves. And the reason why they'll come down after they've had a big meal like that is it just helps aid in digestion. It's almost like after Christmas lunch or Christmas dinner or just a big birthday party lunch or a buffet. You know what it's like. It's nice to have a nice cool glass of water just to help let your meal settle. It's actually very interesting. I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to race back to the carcass and watch those vultures devour the last remaining scraps? Or should we stay here? Or where are these lions going to go now? That's another question. Are they going to go back and chase the vultures away? It'll be interesting. I'd love to try and keep up with them and not get stuck too far behind. But we're going to go and try and follow them. Of course, we're not going anywhere. And let's go across to James now and see if he's having any more luck with finding animals on foot.
I have found much more luck. Look at my luck. I have found a magnificent mantis. Now, this mantis is seemingly wanting to climb onto the Waltheria plants. In fact, we found it on a Waltheria plant. And if you are a new viewer, Waltheria plants is a very common plant around here on which we find many interesting things. And this mantis, I thought maybe it was in the wrong place. Maybe it was supposed to be on the ground, and it actually flopped down to the ground when I picked the leaf that it was sitting on. And I thought it would try and catch some of the ants that there are sitting around us, but it didn't. It tried to gain height again. So what I think it is not so much disguised. Normally on these Waltherias we have these saw-backed flower mantids, and they look like flowers. They've well camouflaged. This one, I think, is more of the sort of bird turd persuasion. Many animals that we've seen sitting on these Waltherias and many of the other plants have disguised themselves as bird droppings. And I think that's what this has done. I think that's what its general modus operandi is. It is not disguised when you look at it on the leaf. And I think people just don't recognize it for what it is. I don't know if you can see there, but its antennae are waving frantically in the wind as it tries to pick up different things. Probably uses them to orientate itself according to the gravity that it can feel. It's staring straight down the barrel of the lens now. It's trying to pick up pheromones, a sense of why it is that it's being picked up and what it is being picked up by. And now, of course, it's thinking, oh goodness, I'm on television. I need to try and look smart. And if we're very lucky, what it will do is clean its antenna. Ooh, it spotted a fly on my hand. Oh, the fly flew off. Just having a bit of a stretch. Look at the vicious claws on that thing. Isn't it cool? Now you will find, there we go, it's now washing its face because it knows it's on TV. You'll find that those rather strange four limbs that look like little sort of boxing limbs are almost certainly developed or adapted to catching a specific kind of prey. Now what kind of prey that is, I couldn't begin to tell you. But the way it looked at that fly that came and landed on my hand indicated that perhaps it might be flies. There's another fly. Look. Oh, no. I'd love to see one of these things nail a fly. This is just fantastic. I'm being bitten by another fly. And I must tell you, the ticks and ants are out in profusion at the moment. We can hear lions also calling to the deep south of where we are. They're not on this reserve. No sound or sign of any leopards just yet. Isn't that wonderful? There's the fly. Come on, go and fetch it. Go on. Go and get it. The fly is biting me. You need to try and catch it. I'm afraid I have to frighten the fly away. It's biting me. Go on. Look, it's landed right next. It's caught it. That was astoundingly fast. This is amazing. The speed with which this mantis swung round and grabbed it with those hooked and spiky forelimbs was astounding. The fly is still struggling, but no fly, your day is up. Today is the day that you meet the fly maker. Well done, Mantis, you are my new best friend in the world. Oh, this is really quite astounding. Fly is going to its doom head first. The mantis has grabbed it. Those forelimbs are so spiky that it is now impossible for the fly to move. It's totally pinned. Its legs on either side of the right hand limb, and the mantis is now eating the fly head first. It's eaten off its eye. It's eaten off the one eye. I think it's going for the next one now. Yes, indeed, the head is now removed. Good stuff. The fly has stopped twitching. No, it's still twitching away. Now, I know this might sound a little bit gruesome. I mean, we wouldn't describe a lion kill like this, but then, of course, the Impala and Waterbuck and things that the lions kill don't tend to offend us like flies do. Yes, the eye is definitely seeming to be some sort of mantis delicacy. Oh, yes, there it goes. The eye is being devoured. Yep, swallowed. You see that, Vim? The eye is now being swallowed. This is just too special. Watch out, there's another fly there. And I think what you'll find is that the shell will not be eaten. I think now that the head is gone and the eye, which is obviously quite nutritious, has been grabbed and sucked dry, I think it'll probably suck the rest of the abdomen dry from the top. Although it seems to be consuming the whole thing. The head is now completely removed. I was going to tilt it slightly. You might be able to see a bit better. How's that, Vim? Gee whiz, what a sighting this is. Now the fly has no head, so although one of its legs is still twitching, another fly came and nearly met its maker there. Oh, you clever mantis, you are having the best breakfast, aren't you? Thank you very much. Now, unfortunately, there are another 7 billion where this one came from, so it would be very nice if you could deal with them too. No need to finish this one, you could just catch another. And I'm sure you must be getting some wonderful screenshots of this. There's another fly sitting now, doesn't realise how close to its doom it is. Would you like me to come closer, Vim? How's that? Oh. I mean, that is just so cool. So there's no venom attached here, it's just pure force. And Janelle, as if to sort of preempt me, you said, are there any venomous mantids? Not that I know of, Janelle. They're adapted to be physically much more intimidating than their prey. They've got those vicious spikes on the front legs. And they're on the joints of the front legs are sort of elongated. So the second segment, which contains the sort of powerful or longest spikes, the white ones that you can see on this mantis, that's the longest segment. And then the next segment, which is I think normally quite short on most insects, is long, and it's also got spikes. So this fly was clamped between 4 sets of spikes, 2 each on each front leg, between the third and second segments. And there was no ways once it had been grabbed. There goes the wing. Oh no, didn't like the wing, just chewed it off there. Now I would so love to see this under the microscope, because that would really be fantastic. It would be the stuff of nightmares, because of course this is how they design and build alien creatures for alien TV shows. It's those sort of 4 or 5 different mouth parts, or 4 or 6 different mouth parts, consuming bits and pieces like this, that at sort of a macro scale look so very intimidating. There comes the sun onto our little mantis. He's eaten the legs, or she's eaten the legs. Oh, this is just amazing. I'd love to see a slow motion replay of the mantis turning and grabbing a fly. And there's another fly now standing on the mantis's back. They really are not very bright, these flies. But I'll tell you what, I think you'd need a camera that shot about 1,000 frames a second to be able to see it clearly, because the speed with which it moved was quite astonishing. It's now into the soft parts. I really didn't expect this, I must say. I mean, you know how hard it is to hit a fly, and unless you're Mr. Miyagi or the Karate Kid catching a fly with chopsticks, I mean, that's basically the speed with which this mantis, and accuracy with which this mantis moved. It had to turn a full 90 degrees to the side, reach out and grab the fly, and it happened in less than a split second. Sorry, Vim. I'm just getting pins and needles in my leggies. Are you also?
No, I don't have any more feeling in my arms.
You don't have feeling in your arms. I'm not surprised. Let's do that. Is that a little easier? I wonder if he's finished his meal yet. No. Yeah, Tiffany, you want to know if a mantid can fly? Absolutely, there are its wings. It flies quite well. The youngsters often can't fly, and not all of them can fly. The sawback flower mantid, I don't think, is a flighted mantid. Some can fly and some can't. Like many of the beetles, some will fly, some don't. Bugs, the same thing. Grasshoppers, the same thing. Head, then the legs, and now it's going to try and get into the abdomen. Just as the sun bathes it in gorgeous light here. And it's cut off the wings, doesn't like the wings. There he goes, having a wonderful meal. It's got its own knife and fork built into its legs. I wonder when it will need to eat again. I have no idea. We're always asked how often do lions eat or how often do leopards eat and that sort of thing. And it's easy to answer. How often does a mantis like this eat? Couldn't begin to tell you. But I hope it eats a lot today. I'd like to wait and see until it's finished eating. Let me turn it around again so I can see how much is left. I can't see. Can you see, VM, if it's actually eating the exoskeleton or if it's just sort of sucking out bits from the middle?
Looks like he's doing something.
Yeah.
Chewing or sucking.
He's chewing or sucking, as VM says. How are your arms there, VM? How are your arms?
They're good. But I've been bitten.
Alright, I'm going to sit here with this mantis for a little bit longer. Let's go and find out what Brent's up to, and if something changes here, I was bitten by another fly, we'll come straight back across to the killer mantis.
Well, we've decided to sit next to this little pan, and Brian and I just being, what's the word I'm looking for? Serenaded. Not by the squawking of the Birchall starling, but the whomping of African bullfrogs. Now, we've been trying to spot one, but they're in that long grass. There seems to be quite a few around there. We just see the grass moving every now and then. But you can just hear that whoomp. Oh, isn't that cool? Oh, but there has been no sign of leopards. Those two male lions have crossed out of our area and gone into Buffelshoek. So I'm going to get onto the Eastern Channel and see if we can get an update. But isn't that cool? Whoomp, whoomp, whoomp. Now, of course, the frogging is not going to be quite as good this morning as it was yesterday morning, but what I'm quite excited is that the chorus of frogs that are going to explode around dusk, creating an amphibious cacophony this evening. I'm going to have to start going to bed again listening to the frog calls so I can remember them all. So there has been no sign of any leopards yet this morning. Now, it's so difficult to see tracks, and also that weather was so good for hunting. You probably find that our Queen Karula is sitting pretty somewhere in a block with a nice piece of meat. We need to find at least a track to know where to start looking, but so far no luck. This is such a stunning morning. We're on what we call the fire break. I just want to make sure that no one's Rexon's already checked it. I was just saying to make sure Rexon hadn't checked the whole riverbed, but it looks like he has. Where to next, Brian? Decisions. Oh, chip past the plains. Maybe we should head to the plains of the Cheetah. I think that's an excellent idea. that was some of the worst directions I've ever heard in my life from Jerry, because I still have no idea where Connor saw a male leopard. To the turnoff into Buffalo's Hook. Well, there are multiple turnoffs into Buffalo's Hook. There's about 3 kilometers of turnoffs. Jerry, no, the Buffalo's Hook cut line is very long, guys. Maybe get Connor to jump onto my channel and explain to me where he saw the leopard. So, we're going to go look there. Okay, I'm going to try and figure out where Connor saw the leopard. While we do that, let's go back to Taylor and the lions.
Unfortunately, this is going to be the last view we get of the Nkuhumas, because they have decided that it is very hot, as Brent said earlier about it not being a great morning to do frogging because of the heat. And the Nkuhumas, I think, are saying the same thing, is that they've got bellies full, they've had a drink of water. I'm sure they're going to settle in now for their mid-morning siesta, well, till this evening. But the spot that they're heading to, it is a wall of trees. It is almost impossible to take this vehicle through without scaring the Nkuhumas. So I think we'll probably leave it at that. There she goes, the last one. Bye-bye, girl. And it's a nice spot that they've got. There's lots of guaris, there's lots of big wattle trees here. It will be very, very cool. And also the sand is nice and wet as well, so that's going to help cool them down. But thank you, Nkuhumas, for that lovely sighting. Now we've got another surprise plan. Well, it's not a surprise because I'm about to tell you. Is that apparently Connor, I'm going to try and reverse out of it. Connor said he's seen a leopard from the drone. So we're actually going to go and investigate there once we've managed to navigate out of here and go and see who it is. And it was on the boundary. I think it's very difficult to be able to identify a leopard from the drone. And I'm just trying to think, maybe Mvula, maybe Djuma, but we know Djuma's petrified of the vehicles during the day. At night he's not so bad. And I know a leopard just like that. And he goes by the name of, what's your head here, David? He goes by the name of Mandlev, and he lies down in the southern sector of the Sabi Sand. So I just want to turn this game driver radio off. Lots of chit-chatter, trying to track down those lions. Okay, it seems as though Brent is now following up with the leopard. I wonder, Jerry, how far is Brent though? Because we're here at Buffalo's Hook Dam. Let's quickly find out, because if Brent's still all the way down on the southern boundary, that might be a bit long for Brent to get up here. We'll just go and help him anyway, and we can let Brent take over the sighting. Go and have a look as to who it is. I can see Connor. Right, let's go out of 4x4 very quickly. I don't need to be in that anymore. But wasn't that lovely to see the Nkuhumas munching away very quickly, not sleeping too much, and then coming down for a lovely drink? I thought that was very special, especially with the lovely light. And I'm, of course, very chuffed to have seen my favorite little girl, who is looking so well. I can't believe how well that mange is healed, so that's good. That's really, really good. Right, let's have a chat with Connor, because we're right here. Let's ask him very quickly. Hi, Connor. You said west. That update. Okay. Okay, so like past Gowrie cut line. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Connor. Okay, so I suspect it sounds like this leopard has gone north, but let's go and have a look anyway. You never know. But I don't know if it sounds like Tingana to me. He normally just passes by very, very quickly and doesn't often extend too far into Buffalo's Hook. That sounds more like Mvula's territory. Go and investigate. We're not far. We're right here near the cut line now. Perfect, there we go. So we're going to go and investigate, because I suspected that Brent was very far away from this area. He's going to go towards Cheetah Plains. I think he's going to follow up on those cheetah tracks that Mike had called in earlier. Maybe they've had some luck that side. So we'll just go and quickly check where Connor had said that he saw that leopard cross. I think it's somebody. You know, I don't think all these cats are always used to strange things buzzing in the sky. Maybe it is Djuma. Remember, I was with VM and we were driving and we were actually tracking, it was that morning we were tracking the Nkuhumas, but they'd crossed into Buffelshoek as well. And they slept just not too far from here. And we were driving, and I think it was about here. We came over the dip, or we looked down, and on the other side, on the other horizon, we saw something, and I thought it was a lion, and I got so excited. It wasn't a lion though, and it ended up being a leopard, but it ran north. And that was very typical, apparently, of Djuma. But it's funny how some of these big male leopards, like Mantlev, who lives down near the Sabi River, and is the son of Mbavala, Vin Diesel, the Anderson male's contender for being one of the contenders for being the largest leopards in the Sabi Sand. And he's the same. During the day, he's very, very skittish. But at night, beautiful, so relaxed. Absolutely loved, walks right past the vehicle. And I suppose he's just a little bit shy. Maybe he feels a bit vulnerable because, well, everybody can see very well at this time of the day. Let's pick up the pace a bit. Connor said it was about 400 meters west. So I suspect it's at that Buffelshoek sign. I think quite far along here. We're going to have to drive. But we'll keep a lookout though. We'll keep staring right down into the distance, checking the roads. Because even if we can just get a very quick, brief visual of him, that would be really nice, wouldn't it? It would be a new leopard for me, though I think I've seen him. Better to just get proper confirmation though. Oh, we're coming back to our puddle where we'd found the terrapin that we didn't get a good opportunity to see for too long. So we're going to keep on searching and we'll give you an update in a moment if I find this male leopard or not, or even find his footprints. But off you go to James, who thinks he has found a frog.
Well, if you were walking along with the view that you have now, and you came to round about where I'm sitting, you'd be forgiven for just keep going, for not stopping at all, because there was nothing to see in an area like this. And indeed, but for Herbert's eyes, I wouldn't have seen anything. Look over here. This, everybody, is not a piece of dung. It is a frog. It is a little male bushveld rain frog, as far as I can tell. And he is sort of terrified by the sight of VM, of course, because VM is very intimidating. So he's not moving at all. Let me just get my binoculars to one side, and then I can get on the ground. And there's an ant moving towards him. Maybe we'll see another kill. Imagine we saw 2 kills in one day, VM.
That would be excessive.
It would be excessive. And I'm just going to touch him from behind, just so that you can see he's alive, perhaps. There you go. You can see him walking. I'll turn him so he's looking at the camera. Could you look at the camera? No. Isn't he cool? I think that is so sweet. He's only about, well, I mean, you can see there's my finger next to him. He's the size of my baby fingernail. And you can see him breathing frantically, his throat. Okay. Now the metabolism of a little animal like this must be so fast. He must have to eat such a lot. But I suppose just after the rain, there will be plenty for him to eat. He's a very special little fellow. And he'll be looking for a female who is about 4 times his size, probably. That's very sweet, with that little funny pug nose. There are ants all over the place here, and I wonder if he wouldn't eat one of them. A couple of drop-tailed ants. Ah, that's great. Here's a drop-tailed ant here. But he'd want to watch out for them, I imagine, because, of course, he's not very big. And a drop-tailed ant is a predatory, or certainly a scavenging ant. And they will definitely try and take something that looks like it's not living. And there's one actually trying to eat Viam.
Still trying.
Yeah, there's one trying to carry Viam away as we speak. And so we can't actually get the camera onto it.
Okay.
Well, I can, maybe. Let me try and do it quickly. Viam is being savaged by this thing. I think he's calling his friends now as well. Please excuse the wobbly nature of this picture. All right, there we go. There. How cool is that, everybody? Now, what it's trying to do is penetrate Viam's thick skin. It doesn't know Viam is wearing a pair of fine khaki trousers. And that is the kind of danger that this frog is in. And I suspect that the frog, or that the ants, are simply unaware of the frog's presence. That thing's really having a go at you, isn't it, Viam? Is it very painful?